Welcome back to NPD Defined. We're going through the Narcissistic Personality Disorder, the 9 diagnostic traits this week. So we've already covered the first 2. We're stepping into trait number 3 today, the belief of being special. So excited that you're here. If you're new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware diagnosed narcissist who help people understand narcissistic personality disorder and help break them free from the toxicity that they're currently stuck in. You might be at the place where you're confused, where you're lost, where you're belittled, where you're put down. You're wondering, hey, I don't know if this person's a narcissist or not. And stick around and watch the videos this week because we're diving into the different characteristics of narcissistic personality disorder more in depth and in detail. Doesn't mean that you have the ability to diagnose, doesn't mean that I have the ability to diagnose, but we're just saying, hey, let's take a look. And the phrase we're going to use is if it looks like a duck and it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck and it poops like a duck and it swims like a duck, it might be a duck, okay? We're not diagnosing it as a duck. We're just saying, hey, it definitely appears to be a duck, okay? At the end of the day, what really matters is the truth and the reality. If he's toxic and he's bringing you down and he's not helping you grow, develop, and rise into the person you're called to be, leave. If he's not honest, if he's not vulnerable, if he's not showing consistent change, leave, okay? Easier said than done. If you need help with that, go to rawmotivations.com, click on the one-on-ones, or jump into some of our challenges to help you break free and move forward today. So when we're diving in, we're talking about number 3. So let's read it from the DSM-5 and then we'll jump in. Number 3, believes that he or she is special and unique and can only be understood by or should associate with other special or high status people or institutions. Okay, narcissists oftentimes believe that they are special, right? Like, have you ever encountered someone who insists that they're unlike anyone else? They are destined for greatness. You're like, what's actually going on here? And so narcissists oftentimes views them as being a level up, views them as being very special. Now we're going to try to not to step into the entitlement piece because that's coming up in 2 more videos on number 5. But this specialness piece starts to go into the fantasy of what we just talked about on the last video of who they are, what they think, the heroes of the story. But then this special piece starts to be like, hey, I'm so special that other people don't get me. And so you're going to see this come out in a lot of different ways. One of the ways I like to illustrate this would be in the workplace environment, where he hasn't been able to hold a job in 5 years and he keeps getting fired or let go from different places because of how special he is. Now with that, it oftentimes is like, well, my boss was idiots. They just didn't get me. They didn't see the talent that I have. But it's because of this like arrogance coming in of like, I'm so amazing. Why would I do such a small job? Why would I? And there's all this pushback. And then oftentimes it's because he believes that he's special and no one can actually connect. So I would always view myself as being more important as the world revolving on me, but also the specialness of like, there's only a few people I connect with. Now, I would connect with those people through the ideal love, the fantasy of like, oh, I can connect with this girl because we have this connection where like she gets me, ideal love piece, right? And so this unique piece is like, hey, I'm unique, I'm different. No one else gets me. No one else understands the same thing. I wanted to feel like I was the only one that was made up this way, right? And then I started realizing later in life that I'm not, that there's a lot of people that think the same way, that are dealing with the same things, all this kind of stuff. So you need to understand a narcissist, though, wants to put themselves on an island thinking I'm the best person. Now, on an island, not in isolation, because on an island, you don't get the admiration, the attention, or the manipulation of other people that you need. Okay, so that's why the narcissist is still like interacting with other people, but there's an aspect of like, hey, I'm special. Sometimes this will lead to the entitlement. We'll talk about that later. Sometimes this will lead to number 9, the arrogant and the haughty behaviors, because it's like, oh, I'm going to look down on you because you're not as smart as me. You're going to see this sometimes come out in the like teacher role, where a narcissist is trying to teach you something in a workplace environment or even in the relationship and is using it in a way to make you feel small. And this is one of the things I would do in the workplace, and I struggle to do inside the relationship of doing this, where I would say things and communicate things and teach things in a way that would make people feel like idiots. So like someone's struggling with doing something, I come up and I help them with it like really quickly, and all of a sudden it's like perfect and it's done. They're like, how'd you do that so fast? Man, I'm just that good. Like I would do things that would be like, okay, well, see, I'm special. Like I get this. And you don't. So like working for Chick-fil-A for 10 years, there was always this piece of technology, right? That would break, that would mess up, the iPads would disconnect, people would be outside taking orders, all this kind of stuff because I did a lot of stuff at drive-thru. There was one knack that I had, and I can't explain it, and it's verifiable with a bunch of people, so it's not just me making this up, but it reinforced the aspect of being special because anytime there was technology issues, I could pretty much walk up to it and fix it within just a minute or two. And people are like, I was working on that for like 20 minutes. How did you fix it? The majority of the time, I didn't know. But I didn't let them know that. I just kind of shrugged it off with a smile and walked away. And they're left feeling like an idiot because I solved it really fast. Okay, so you're going to see different aspects. It might be a unique trait like that, but a lot of times narcissists are going to be like, hey, I'm special, I'm unique, and you know what? You can't get me, you can't understand me, only certain people can. And so sometimes you'll have this where narcissists will only want to associate with certain people, like certain people that make them feel special or certain people that quote unquote get them. Okay, narcissists carry this deep conviction that they are exceptional, unlike anyone else in the world. Like no one else is like me. So like I would kind of differentiate and kind of like say different things that were weird sometimes of like humans, right? Like talking down on other people, making myself feel and think and be more better, more special than the people in my life. So like, oh yeah, them, yeah, they're not so great. Okay. And so like it sounds weird to say, but like that's where my mind was, and that was some of the stuff I said. Okay, because I had such this sense of I am so special, I'm so amazing. Everyone else are just these like peons. Like I don't really care about them. They're really like low on the totem pole. They really don't matter. And this came out a lot in the workplace environment of putting people down, of being superior to other people and being like, yeah, I'm so amazing. I'm special. You can't really figure me out. You can't really get this. Okay, oftentimes narcissists believe they have this unique quality, talent, characteristics that oftentimes like set them apart. No, but the difference is they're set apart for admiration. They're set apart for praise. So like the fact that I'm so amazing at one thing, that deserves you all to praise me. That's the thought process. Okay. Narcissists are looking to use the admiration, the grandiose sense of self, the entitlement. He's using all these different things of like, hey, I'm so amazing, I'm so special. This deserves your honor. This deserves your praise. You're going to see this inside the relationship where he thinks he's so special that he deserves your respect when he hasn't done nothing, when he has done nothing to actually deserve any respect or love at all. But he views he's special. So as a result, you have to be able to give it to him. Have you seen that in the relationship? Now, sometimes this piece of like being unique means they're only going to try to connect with certain people that get them. But oftentimes it's not just people who get them. It's typically people that they get away with doing the things that they want to do. People that they can use or abuse or make sure that they get what they want out of. It's like, who do I need to be around to get what I want in the moment? It's oftentimes what a narcissist is actually looking at and trying to do. So I'd have you think and understand through this. A lot of times narcissists are trying to appear to look a certain way, but it's going to use this in a way of like, oh, I can only be figured out. I can only connect with certain people. Now, it mentions institutions as well, because sometimes you have that in the intellectual side. Is like intellectually, I will only degrade or lower myself to the degree of interacting with so-and-so or what that might look like. Okay, oftentimes it's going to lead them with the sense of specialness, lead them to associate exclusively with those that they perceive equally as extraordinary. That person's amazing. I want to hang out with them. That person's not. I don't want to hang out with them. Oftentimes, like I would walk into the room and like start to know and pick out really quick who was the leader in the room as far as like communication, interaction, the fun person, and be like, okay, that person's exceptional. Let me connect with that person. Let me be around that person because they're going to get me. They're going to understand. But it was all this manipulative game of trying to be able to control what was actually going on. So we'll give another example. Like think of like a male narcissist who he constantly boasts about what's going on. His career achievements, his development, his remarkable intellect. Like he's going to tell you how amazing he is. But he's going to believe and be able to portray that he's the smartest person in the room and should only associate with people that are that smart. And so if other people aren't that smart, he's like, well, you're just kind of an idiot. Like I don't really want to talk to you. And he dismisses you and he dismisses other people as being unworthy of his time and attention. And it creates this barrier that actually isolates him from actually having genuine connections. This is the piece of like, hey, I'm so special, but I also want that ideal love. That doesn't work because if you get too close, then I have to break down the barrier. Can't do that, so the barrier's up. Now we don't have a genuine connection, can't have ideal love, therefore you're gone, and it just continues to spiral. Narcissists will view himself to be special over and over and over again. And it's really key that you understand the aspect of this happening, because otherwise, if you don't understand it, you might start to believe that he actually is special because of what he's been portraying and overlaying on top of you. But ultimately, what it's doing is it's revealing the narcissist's deep-seated need for validation, and oftentimes is reinforcing the inflated self-image. I'm so amazing. I'm so great. You need to understand it so you can actually be free from it. If we can help you in this, please reach out. Go to rawmotivations.com. We'd love to be able to work with you. You can go in there and you can click the one-on-ones if you want to have a conversation with me personally, or you can jump into our 7-day or our 45-day challenge, helping people first with getting awareness and then helping people second to actually break the trauma bond. If you're stuck inside some of these and you know what I'm talking about, then jump into those. If not, then we'd love to talk to you, love to interact to help you move forward in your healing, growth, and development.